Hey, what is going on, Twintendo Nation? Hope you're having an awesome day. Today we got the first trailer, the first look at the brand new Pokemon anime that will be airing on November the 17th, 2 days after Pokemon Sword and Shield launch. Guys, this is the most excited I've been about the Pokemon anime in probably over a decade. Not that I didn't enjoy X and Y or Sun and Moon, but this has so much potential, revisiting all the old regions, and obviously with the new region Gala, they've gone for a really fresh approach. They've really gone all out with this Pokemon anime, and the trailer definitely shows that. So we've got a lot to talk about in this video. But before that, obviously guys, if you do enjoy today's video and you want to see more Pokemon anime videos on the channel, make sure to hit the like button down below. Let's aim for around 500 to 1,000 likes. And yeah, if you want to stay up to date with everything Pokemon anime and Pokemon Sword and Shield, of course, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below to become a part of the Twintendo Nation. So first of all guys, we can see the trailer starts off with a montage of Kanto Pokemon in a field, including Bulbasaur, Beedrill, Butterfree, Doduo, Gloom, Poliwag and Poliwhirl, Tauros, and Vileplume. And also, as you guys can tell, I can't really use any footage from the trailer because otherwise that'd be copyrighted. So there's going to be a lot of screenshots, but there is definitely a lot to talk about. So the next shot is Pokemon underwater, and we can see Shelder, Krabby, Cloyster, Magikarp, and even more Pokemon. And this could potentially just be a location montage across Kanto, just showing you, that Ash is back in the Kanto region. But it is, fair enough to assume that these Pokemon could belong to Professor Oak's lab. What supports this is that several Tauros are seen in the first shot, and we know obviously Ash has caught around 30 Tauros in the original series. And I feel like this field just kind of reminds me of Oak's lab. And also when Ash returned to Kanto in Pokemon Sun and Moon, the anime, that him and his friends went swimming in a lake on Professor Oak's lab, which could have all these underwater Pokemon in. It probably most likely is Professor Oak's laboratory. Now next up is something that's very, very different. I didn't see coming for the Pokemon anime, and it's been something that's been kind of wondered about for years, 20 odd years, and they're finally addressing it. We see a Pichu appear out of a bush. Now this was shown off a few days ago. At first I really didn't think too much of this, however it turns out that this Pichu is in fact Ash's Pikachu, and the first episode of the brand new Pokemon series will be dedicated to Pikachu's origin story before meeting Ash. Yes, Pikachu's getting an origin story after 22 years or so. I find that incredible, to be honest. I never really thought about Pikachu's origin. I just always assumed it was a Pikachu and just Professor Oak caught it one day. But in fact, we have confirmation that Pikachu was once a Pichu. So yeah, this is the first time we have seen Pikachu in its pre-evolved form as a Pichu. As originally, like I said, I just thought Pikachu had never evolved from something, and it was just always a Pikachu. So very interesting that we're getting a backstory for that. Following that, we got our first glimpse of Mew. Now the reason Mew makes an appearance in this trailer, obviously Mew is a pretty important Pokemon, but it is because Mew is integral to Go's story and long-term goal. And obviously, if you guys don't know, but I'm assuming most of you do, Go is one of the new protagonists, or kind of the protagonist alongside Ash in this series. Now following that, we get our first look at Professor Oak's lab. So yes, like I mentioned earlier, those Pokemon earlier could have been from Professor Oak's lab, but it's definitely in the new series. And in the trailer, we can hear Professor Oak speaking to Go, explaining that the Pokemon he saw as a child may have been Mew, which he states obviously is a mythical Pokemon. Now interestingly, the next team we see is the Kanto starters being released from their Pokeballs. Now at first I thought this was at Professor Oak's laboratory because we just saw Oak and we were at his lab earlier in the trailer, and we've seen him in the past hand out starters to trainers beginning their Pokemon journey. However, these starter Pokemon actually belong to the anime's new Pokemon professor, Professor Sakuragi. In his lab we can see the professor with Ash, Go and his daughter Koharu. So this lab actually isn't in Pallet Town like Professor Oak's. This takes place in Vermilion City, where Go and Koharu are from, and they're actually childhood friends, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So Professor Sakuragi then asks Go which Pokemon he'd like to choose. However, Go responds by saying he chooses Mew, which is kind of a weird flex, I'll be honest. But yeah, since he said that, we can assume that Go does not pick any of the Kanto starters, and additionally it is unclear whether Scorbunny was with Go from the start of the anime or whether he gets it later on after visiting the lab for a Pokemon, because we do know that Go will have a Scorbunny on his team, and I just find it weird that he's being offered a Pokemon, yet if he technically has one, which Scorbunny on his side, why is he being offered a Pokemon from Professor Sakuragi? So I'm assuming at this point he meets his Scorbunny later on, but I could be wrong. Following that, we get to see a quick look at Team Rocket. Not much to say on them, but it's just nice to see that they will be playing their usual role in the anime. As obviously once before in Best Wishes, they kind of took a backseat and weren't involved that much. And, you know, I think Pokemon have obviously learned from the mistake. They were, you know, played a big role in X and Y and Sun and Moon, and it's just nice to see that, again, they will be present in the anime. Also, from a translated version of the trailer, we can hear Ash challenge Team Rocket to a battle, and we actually get to see his design up close. I'm really liking the design. It feels like a mix of Sun and Moon and X and Y. Also liking his new clove design for this series. It kind of feels, you know, brand new, but also a mix of retro in there as well. So next we get to see a montage of some action shots. These include Nidoking striking the ground with a move that bears resemblance to Earth Power, Scorbunny fighting Pikachu, with Pikachu seemingly coming off worse. I'm really hoping this isn't a repeat of Pikachu versus Snivy in Best Wishes, where, you know, you've got Pikachu who can pretty much take on most Pokemon and then it somehow loses to a level 5 Pokemon. Yeah, I really don't want Pikachu to lose to this Scorbunny, that's for sure. So then we get to see Gengar, Bisharp, Garchomp, which actually has a wrong-coloured jaw. I mentioned this on Twitter earlier that it should be red and it's purple. You know, colour mistakes are quite, you know, a common occurrence in anime, so it's not a big deal. I just thought it was interesting that in the, you know, trailer that it's not correct. But anyway, then we get to see another Gen 8 Pokemon. This is Corviknight, looking great, which I love Corviknight. It's a really good design. And then up next, we see a flashback of Ash meeting Pikachu at Oak's lab. I think a lot of people were worried when they saw this that, is this going to be a reboot? But no, it's not going to be a reboot. We actually know that Ash at the end of Pokemon Sun and Moon says he wants to travel the world. This anime is all about traveling to all different regions. He's essentially going to be doing that in this anime. And this is, you know, likely tied to the new series' first episode with, you know, the origin story of Pikachu, and probably going to flash back to Ash when he first met Pikachu. We then see Pikachu looking at his reflection in a puddle under the moonlight. We can assume that this scene takes place right after he evolved from Pichu, you know, looking at what has changed about him, you know, what does he look like now. And there is also a shot of Pichu next to the moon later on in the trailer, which again, like I said, is more proof that Pichu evolves at nighttime, and then, you know, Pikachu sees his reflection for the first time as being a Pikachu. We then get our first look at Scorbunny's nature in the anime, as it's mischievously laughing to itself. Not sure what it's done at this point, maybe this is before Pikachu and Scorbunny are battling, but it's definitely going to be a little bit of a troublemaker, and maybe this is reflected in Go's personality as well, because we know obviously Go will catch Scorbunny eventually. Now next we see more Kanto Pokemon, including Fearow, Koffing, Kangaskhan, and Farfetch'd. Now, actually, a few days before this trailer aired, we saw Pichu with some Kangaskhan, and obviously now we know that Pichu is Ash's, so we know that they're going to meet up at some point. And interestingly, you might have noticed that some of these Pokemon have ties to Galar, including Koffing and Farfetch'd. So with Koffing's evolution, Weezing having a Galarian form, unsure at the moment whether Koffing will have one too, and of course Farfetch'd having a Galarian evolution and a form as Surfetch'd, it does make you think if Fearow and Kangaskhan have any relation to Galar as well, or is it just being used for montage purposes? Pretty interesting, most likely just a coincidence. Next we see Ash and Go flying on the back of a mysterious Pokemon which gets revealed later on in the trailer, we'll talk about that then. The two have a conversation in which Go acknowledges Ash as his friend. Now, I've not seen any episode of the new series, but the duo's budding relationship has me really excited for things to come. Afterwards we get a brief look at Koharu, who as I mentioned before is a childhood friend of Go and Professor Sakuragi's daughter. So it's unclear at the moment as to whether she will be travelling with Ash and Go, and this is because we can see here that she appears to go to a school in Vermilion City as her and her friends are wearing the same uniform. I'm pretty sure that is probably a school uniform. She speaks about our new protagonist Go by saying that all he ever does is Pokemon research and observations. It kind of makes it sound like she's not interested in that kind of stuff, maybe similar to how May was at the start of Pokemon Advance, but it wouldn't surprise me if she grows to like Pokemon a lot more. And assuming that her dad is Professor Sakuragi, I'll be surprised if she doesn't like Pokemon. But yeah, I'd like to see Koharu join Ash and Go on their travels. I think the relationship between Go and Koharu could be a very interesting one. Now the next scene of importance in the trailer is a throwback to the first ever Pokemon episode. So we can see Ash half asleep, presumably trying to catch a Pokemon in his dreams, hurling his Pokeball alarm clock against his bedroom wall, much to Pikachu's horror. I love Pikachu's face in this. And yeah, this is a callback to the first ever Pokemon episode where he basically did the same thing just before he went to go and pick up Pikachu. Next up we see Ash run off with Pikachu, and in the trailer he states that he still plans on becoming a Pokemon Master alongside his best bud Pikachu. We then see our protagonist riding on the back of the mysterious Pokemon mentioned earlier, which is in fact Lugia, one of my favourite Pokemon of all time. Really happy to see Lugia make an appearance. This marks Lugia's 4th separate appearance in the anime, and this includes the second Pokemon movie. There was an episode or a couple of episodes in the Johto series where Lugia made an appearance, and that was a different Lugia. Then we had the Lugia in the Power of Us film, and yeah, we got Lugia again. It's unsure whether that's any of the Lugias prior to this, but yeah, very interesting that Lugia is making a 4th separate appearance. And actually, just prior to the scene, the narrator of the trailer states that an extremely rare Pokemon will be appearing at Vermilion City Port. Could this be Lugia, or is it in fact Mew, who obviously Go is trying to catch? One of the trailer's final shots is Ash alongside the Kanto starters, alongside Koharu's Yamper. I just really like this shot. He's just playing with the Kanto Pokemon, kind of probably feeling a bit nostalgic. And yeah, I just think this is really, really cool. And it's great to see Yamper. Yamper's one of my favourite of the new Pokemon. Now the trailer closes on Go stating it will be a piece of cake. Now at the time Mew is on screen during this dialogue, so if he is referring to his goal of catching Mew being a piece of cake, he must be more optimistic than Ash becoming a Pokemon Master. And at the end we see a brand new key visual which has a lot to unpack, so much detail on there, and I've actually been scripting that up, and I thought I was actually going to include it in this video, but it would probably be like 20 minutes long, so I thought I would cover that in a separate video very soon, hopefully tomorrow, so look forward to it. But guys, that is everything about the brand new trailer for the Pokemon anime. Guys, I'm so excited to obviously make videos on this anime and just watch it in general and be a fan of the Pokemon anime again. So if you did enjoy today's video, make sure to hit the like button down below, and if you want to stay up to date with everything Pokemon anime related, Pokemon Sword and Shield related, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below to become a part of the Twintendo Nation. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you on the next video. Peace!